Hi, Indie Games Weekly, episode 1. Now, I'm really excited to do this. It's a new podcast that we're starting up, and it's all about indie games. It's about the new games that come out each week. There's literally like heaps of new games that come out each week, and some of them are really bad, some of them are good, and I wanted to go through them because I love finding them. I come across so many games on Twitter, and I want to share. So I thought I'd introduce myself. I'm Ant. If you don't know me, I'm just a typical Aussie guy. I guess that's what you want to call me. And I play a lot of indie games. I work on indie games, and on the weekends I like to play a lot of them to see what's good, what's bad, and I really look for the different indie games, the ones that have got something unique about them. That's what draws me to an indie game, or any game for that matter. So in this series or this podcast, you can it's all about indie games. The rest of the channel, I don't know yet if it's going to have other type of, it might have different games, but this is all indie games. So let's get into this. Let's go and start seeing what indie games I've been looking at. And this is the first game. It's Ravenlok. I would start off by saying there's a couple of weird things happening here. A, it's the most amazing looking game. It just looks amazing. But B, it's a bit weird because it never released on Steam. It just released Xbox and Epic Games, which is a little bit of a weird one. But basically, you play as a character, you move into a new house, and you find this old mirror up the back here. And you have to go and work out how to clean the mirror. This took me like a while. There's a whole lot of backwards and forwards in this game. There's like moving from here, going to get that, coming back over here, trying to find items. If you like that kind of thing, this game is definitely for you. I thought it was a bit too much going backwards, forwards type thing. I thought it could have been a little bit more straightforward, especially at the start. But yeah, like I looked everywhere around this barn, and in the barn there, I couldn't find this cloth. And then I realized I had to go into the house to actually go and find this cloth. So what I would say is you'll be forever moving along. It does look amazing though. But once you get through the barn and you find where the actual cloth is, you get into this really, really magical world. It's like an Alice in Wonderland's kind of vibe. And it's just amazing. It just blows your mind. Again, there's a lot of backwards and forwards, and the sizes of the maps are really confusing because the fore depth is hard to tell. So you can kind of walk at the camera normally further than you think you can, and that can be a bit confusing. And also where you got to go next, it's not always like there's a path over that way or this way, and you'll be forever kind of trying to find those paths. But I can't say it again. I love this environment a whole lot. So and it does have an Alice in Wonderland's vibe. I don't know if I just said that, but yeah, it's definitely got that kind of thing. A lot of looking around. I really enjoyed this, but I didn't. I love the environment. I just wish it was a bit more fun to play. Once you get this sword and this shield, you end up going and doing your first kind of mission, so to speak, after you work out how to fight. And you got to kill these like mushroom things. And it's almost like you're trying to kill a baby or something. It's really kind of not enjoyable at all. It's like they just kind of go "Bleh," and make this kind of ugly noise, and they're not even armed or anything. They're just these mushroom kind of things that you kind of interact with. And yeah, I found them not, I didn't know. I didn't find them enjoyable to kill, but I didn't, potentially later on in the game, there's going to have enemies that are a bit harder to kill, and they will probably be more enjoyable and satisfying to kill. But as it stands at the moment, these mushroom things are just, yeah, you just don't want to kill them. They're kind of adorable. So it's interesting, but I love the graphics and that, but I don't know. I couldn't get into this game as much as I wanted to. I say they're just like, and kind of yelling at you. It's not, I don't know. You look at it and go, I wish it was kind of, they were more evil or something. That would be kind of a whole lot more fun to kill eviler type of things. It is on Game Pass if you want to go and try this game out, if you've got Game Pass, or it is on Epic Store, like I said. It's called Ravenlok. Look, it's in the 6, 7 kind of, it's a good game, and it's just the graphics. If it didn't look how it looked, I probably wouldn't rate it that high. But the way this game looks, it's just beautiful. The character, yeah, it does feel like a beat 'em up, but yeah, we got a message here that's saying it's appealing, the kind of characters you want to beat. No, I didn't want to beat these guys up. I want different characters to beat up. They were just a little bit, I don't know, they just kind of cute, kind of, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think it's worth checking out if you're into more this Alice in Wonderland type of vibe. I think it's interesting and beautiful. Beautiful looking game. So that was the first game for this week that I've got into. The next game is a really small game. It's called Melon Knight. I just bought this one on a couple of days back. It's like a roguelike kind of game, generated levels, all that kind of stuff. And all you have to do is press left or right to make a decision. That's the whole game. So it's this really cool game to just take that 5 minutes out to play. It's not like a long game. You are forever starting the game again. And that's probably the yeah, you shouldn't feel a bit guilty about beating up stuff. Yeah, that's 100% true. Yeah, so this is here. You've got to make a choice. Do you want to kill that guy or that guy? And it's, I don't know. Do you want to eat the pizza or do you want to eat the apple? You've got all these. It's just choices based game, and it's a really fun game for just that 5 minutes of doing stuff where you basically just left or right kind of thing. It's quite fun in that regard. I mean, I played it about 10 times, and each time it gave me the tutorial again, which was a little bit annoying. But I enjoy the graphics in this game. That's like, it looks really cool. With this, it's got like an 8-bit type of vibe, and the guy's got a melon in his head. I reckon it would be a fun mobile game. I agree with that. I chose the beer every time because good old beer. But I didn't understand how to know which one was better or worse. If I took the beer, I didn't die. If I went the other way, I normally lost a life. That was all I worked out. Then there was treasure chest. One was on its side, one was the other way. It wasn't clear why I was doing this one or that one. But it was fun. It was kind of like a lucky dip kind of game. Yeah, it's a great little time killing game, and it's priced quite nicely, like a $5 game. It's kind of really, really cool for those killing 5 minutes type of games. So yeah, that was Melon Knight, and I think it's worth checking out. But my favorite game this week was definitely the next game, which is Piggy Gambit. It maybe did have a bit of a memory for the last game, Melon Knight. It maybe did have a bit of a memory in it. It was definitely procedurally generated, but I was not sure. Like I said, I couldn't make rhyme or reason out of it. I just enjoyed it, but not sure why. Piggy Gambit is the next game, and this definitely was my favorite of all the games I played. I have never played anything like this. If you were into chess, if you were into puzzle games, this is your kind of jam. It's fantastic. It's got a nice story, and it's basically you've got to try and work out how to get the pig to the book. I think it's a book. And you've got these different type of monsters that attack you. But as you go through the game, you get like all these chess pieces that are on the board. And you know that like the castles will go this way, and the bishops will go different directions, and pawns will do different things. So based off what you know about chess is where you will actually move. You had these robotic ones too, where you step on a purple button and they will like move at the same direction, and then you'd have to kind of move them so you could get them to move out of the way to get past you or whatever. But they were really cool puzzles. They were just really nicely made, really enjoyable to think out. Like some of them took me a while. Some of them, after I got going on it, I kind of worked out what I had to do with the game. And yeah, I could have just played this all day. Really, really enjoyed it. So I think it's worth checking out. It has got a free demo if you're interested in Steam to try it out. It's quite an enjoyable puzzle game, and it's different to all the other stuff that we play. And I love those different ones. You've got, some of the levels I died so many times on just trying to remember what move a pawn piece would move. And it is so cute and adorable also. Definitely, I don't know. It's definitely worth checking out. If you can't see what I'm doing, if you're just listening, go and have a look on the Steam store. Piggy Gambit. It's really cool. So that's definitely that. Yeah, I don't know. I've had so much fun this week playing games though. What games have you guys all been playing? If you've got any games, put them in the comments. We'll see if anyone else has been playing any indie games or what's happening there. On this level here, I died so many times because you make one wrong move and then you have to go and restart levels. So yeah, it could get frustrating, these games, but yeah. Okay, so I thought I'd throw in a free game of the week. I thought, like, we all like a free game, and if I see a cool free game, I thought I'll throw that in and we'll see what we think about that. So I did throw in this one. It's called Slime Knight. Now, Slime Knight is like a top-down type game where you're exploring these dungeons and stuff like that. And you've got two controls. So if you're using a mouse and keyboard, you're using WASD for one hand, and the other hand is using the arrow keys. And what happens is your arrow keys are controlling your crazy hand, which is moving different to your body, which is connected by this bit of slime. It's very it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's an interesting game, and being free, I think it's worth checking out. I'm not sure at the moment. It's a little bit buggy, and it's far from perfect, but I think that's why it's been released as a free game, so they can test it and improve it and make it into something potentially later on. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, seeing what you think about this game. It's called Slime Knight. I only played it for about 5 minutes and I had fun in that time. But yeah, pretty cool game. Tabletop games. Maybe I should do a tabletop show. I'm not very good on tabletop games. They're not my strong point. But I play a lot of card games sometimes, but I suppose that is a tabletop, is it not? Yeah. Well, what I wanted to also do is I have the free games, the games that are new and exciting and whatever. Like, they're always cool, but when we release an indie game or stuff like that, a lot of the times people will like promote them in the first week or two, and then over time those games kind of get forgotten about, or they're not talked about after the first week or two. I think this next game is the exception to that, but what I want to do is do an almost new game. So games that are a year or two old maybe, but I've been spending a lot of time playing them, and I want to kind of do more of an in-depth analysis of these type of games. So this week I'm playing a game called Cult of the Lamb. I want to go back to, so this game got released last year in August. And I first ran into it when I was at PAX in Melbourne. So I don't know if you're familiar with PAX. It's like a gaming convention, and if you go to these gaming conventions, they have like a lot of different rooms and different people doing lots of different things. So at PAX, they had like a whole heap of people. They have like different talks on too. So there might be like how to be a better YouTuber. I obviously didn't go to that one. But they also have like other ones about how to be different things. Anyway, I saw this one that said how to start a cult, a gaming cult. And I thought, oh, I better go to that little sit-in. And I went there in last October. So the game had been out for about a couple of months at this time. And I went to this one that said how to start a cult game. And it was only in a really small room, like right up the top, like 3 stories up in this thing. And anyway, I thought, I don't think many people are going to this. But the room was packed. Like they were trying to find room to fit people in. There was not a spare seat in the house. And it just shows you how popular this game was 3 months after its launch. And everyone was just like loving this game. Anyway, I got home and thought, oh, that game must be really cool. Because at this time, I'd never even seen Cult of the Lamb. So I got home and thought, oh, well, I should go and probably buy this game because it was popular and everyone seemed to like it. And I watched the video, like the video thing, and I'm like, this is actually looks quite boring and not my kind of game. So I decided to not buy it. Anyway, many months had passed and I ended up buying it a week or 2 back, and it's probably one of the best things I've done in my life. That's probably a bit over dramatic, but it is a very, very cool game. So what it is a couple of different things. Hello, also for the latecomers. What it is a couple of different things. It's actually like a game that you go on a dungeon crawl and you'll find these different rooms. You fight things and all those kind of things, like a normal dungeon crawling game. In a Paper Mario type of style. That's what I describe it as. And it's also adorable. Like, you don't even want to hurt these little lambs. But as you go out on your little dungeon crawl, what happens is you will go and kill some bosses or whatever. And when you kill a boss, you'll be able to get their... they normally were possessed, and you get to take their lamb back to your base, and you can then use that lamb to join your cult or whatever, and they'll help you build your little village up, and you'll start this huge cult thing. So the dungeon crawling component of this game is quite fun. I don't know. I'm playing it on easy because like that's just what I do. But it's about collecting all the things in the dungeon, collecting more lambs, collecting all those type of things that you can find. But also when you're out, you'll get tarot cards which will give you different abilities. You'll pick up different weapons, you'll pick up different souls and things like that you can use for when you get back to camp. When you get back to camp, then it turns into almost like an Animal Crossing type game. It's just a village that you're trying to make better and better. When you're going through the dungeons, you get to choose. Also, I should say, when you're going through the dungeons, you get to choose the path you want to take through the dungeons, depending on what you want to get out of that dungeon. This game has just got so many different levels, and it's very, very addictive. If you kind of want to waste a whole weekend, I'd recommend getting it. See this little guy here, if I rescue him, he will join my cult. And once he joins my cult, they say rescue, but he's definitely joining my cult. When they join your cult, that's the interesting thing too, because you've got to keep them all happy. What's different about that is they can go evil, so you can lock them up and try and preach to them and try and make them less evil towards the other people in the cult. Or you can just plain out murder them and get some other ones in your next dungeon. It's pretty simple. But you've got to keep their village clean too, because they're quite grubby, these little cult followers. They'll just poop everywhere. You're forever going around picking up little poops and vomit. If you feed them the wrong stuff, they'll vomit everywhere. I don't know. Those little things make me love this game. They're just stupid but funny, and I think people will kind of enjoy it anyway. But yeah, like when I like I said, got back from PAX, and I didn't want any. I thought the trailer and looking at it, it just doesn't sell the game as much as when you play it. The experience of playing it is 10. I can tell you how good it is 10 times over, and it's nowhere near as enjoyable as when you actually try it out for yourself. Go into the furnace here, pick up different weapons. There's a whole lot of cool things going on there. So I'll see if I can show you a little bit of the village, if we can get through this dungeon a bit faster. This is so yeah, when you get back to your village, you'll get your little guys and you'll join them into your cult, and you choose if they're going to be miners, if they're going to be builders, if they're going to be priests or whatever. My guys are all sleeping on the floor because I haven't provided enough beds for them to sleep in because I ran out of money. I don't know, this game has literally thought of so many things that it's just amazing. And I think it's definitely worth getting anytime you see it somewhere. I played it on PlayStation. The only thing was when you finish, like, it goes in a day's cycle, as many games do. Every time you finish your cycle, it would just stop for like 10 seconds to load the next day in or whatever it is. But that was the only kind of thing. I re-educated this guy so he could be a bit more happier. I decided not to murder him. But yeah, going and then you got your little cult thing here that you start your sermons, and yeah, I don't know. It's really amazing. If they didn't have it so adorable, it would be almost every parent will be outraged by this game, because the idea of it is quite almost bad for kids, I guess. But I suppose it's not a kid's game, but being so adorable, it makes everything okay. You kind of laugh at it and enjoy it. So I thought it was pretty good anyway. I definitely have enjoyed playing this game a lot. Anyway, that was Cult of the Lamb. I have a lot of little surviving followers. This is the first of how many, I don't know, 100 podcasts. So I'm hoping to do this every week around this time. I want to kind of just go back to promoting indie games. If you got any games that you want to recommend to play or things like that, definitely tell me. Join the Discord or Twitter or something. Tell me somewhere at Radio Bush, whatever it is. And then, we'll get into playing some more indie games, sharing more indie games around, trying to make everyone see how cool indie games are. doing a collaboration in the future. Who would I do a collaboration with? Maybe. I could do collaborations if we got a multiplayer game. I don't know. All I know is I love doing live streams. This one's probably been a bit awkward because I got to get back into that rhythm of live streaminess. I don't know. You're just never quite comfortable first live stream back after you've been out of the live streaming game for a while. So let's see how they keep going as I keep talking about indie games. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you haven't got any other games you want to talk about, we'll finish up with this week Indie Games Weekly podcast. I'm so original. Anyway, goodbye.